The phone vibrated against the marble table. Once, twice, then again. I watched it light up like a small, desperate heartbeat in the quiet room. Her name flashed across the screen. My daughter-in-law. 71 missed calls. I let the phone ring again. Outside my window, the Swiss mountains stood perfectly still. White peaks, silent lakes. The kind of silence money buys. When you've lived long enough to stop pretending people love you for free. The phone buzzed again. A message appeared. Please answer. We need to talk. I leaned back in the leather chair and let the memory replay in my mind. Her voice, sharp, loud, cruel in the careless way only entitled people can be. If you want to join Thanksgiving, come wash the dishes. She had shouted it over the phone. Not even embarrassed, not even pretending. In the background, I had heard laughter. My son's laughter. My fingers had tightened around the phone that day. But my voice had remained calm. 2 words. Enjoy. Then I hung up. And I booked a flight. Now the photographs had arrived where they needed to. My villa in Switzerland. The lake. The terrace. The car parked outside. Luxury has a way of revealing people's true character faster than any confession. The phone buzzed again. I smiled. Greed is louder than guilt, and she was screaming. The first insult had happened 3 years earlier, quietly, like most betrayals. My son Daniel had brought her home for dinner. Emily, pretty, polite, too polite, the kind of smile that never reached the eyes. I noticed things other people didn't. The way she looked around the house, the way she asked about the neighborhood, property prices, investments, taxes, questions that had nothing to do with family. Daniel, of course, was blind. Love makes men stupid. Marriage makes them obedient. After the wedding, the visits became less frequent. Calls shorter. Then came the small jokes. Mom, Emily says you spoil yourself too much. Mom, Emily thinks you should downsize the house. Downsize. The word echoed like a quiet insult. It wasn't concern. It was calculation. Then one night, Daniel called me. Late. His voice tired. Mom? Emily thinks it would be smarter if we handled your finances when you get older. I said nothing. Silence is the best lie detector. He filled it quickly. You know, just to make sure everything is secure. Secure. I stared at the phone long after he hung up. That was the first moment I understood. They weren't waiting for me to die. They were preparing. So I began watching. Quietly. People reveal everything when they think you are harmless. I stopped arguing. Stopped correcting them. Stopped visiting. Instead, I listened. Emily loved to talk when she believed she had the upper hand. At family dinners, she would lean toward Daniel and whisper things she thought. I couldn't hear. Your mom is sitting on a fortune. When the house sells, we'll finally upgrade. Upgrade. I smiled at the turkey and said nothing. But I began moving things. Accounts, properties, investments. Slowly, quietly. Money disappeared from the places they expected it to be. Moved into trusts they couldn't touch. Then I hired a lawyer. A very good one. A week later, I overheard something else. The final confirmation. Emily on the phone in the kitchen. Her voice low. Impatient. Relax. Once Daniel convinces her to transfer control of the assets, we'll refinance the house. Pause. Then a laugh. Cold. She's old. She'll sign anything if he asks. I stood in the hallway listening. The strange thing was, I didn't feel angry. Not yet. Just clarity. Like watching a chessboard where your opponent believes the game has just begun. But you already know how it ends. The Thanksgiving call was her mistake. She thought humiliation would push me into obedience. She wanted me desperate. Instead, I gave her distance. Then I disappeared. No calls. No explanations. Just photographs. The villa. The terrace overlooking Lake Geneva. A glass of wine beside the infinity pool. Luxury speaks louder than revenge. Her reaction was immediate. 71 calls. Finally, I answered. Silence filled the line. Then her voice. Small now. Uncertain. Where are you? I let the silence stretch. Then I said calmly. Switzerland. Another pause. Then the question she tried to hide. Did you sell the house? Yes. Her breathing changed. Sharp. Panic creeping in. Where is the money? I leaned back and watched the mountains, and finally delivered the truth. It isn't where you think. A week later, they flew to see me. Emily arrived first. Not with anger, with charm. The desperate kind. She hugged me too tightly, smiled too widely. Daniel looked confused, tired, like a man who had just realized the rules of his life were written by someone else. We sat on the terrace. The lake shimmered below. Emily spoke first. Soft voice, careful words. "We were worried about you." I nodded slowly. Then I slid the envelope across the table. Daniel opened it. His eyes moved over the pages. Trust documents, asset transfers, ownership statements, everything gone, placed into a foundation that funded medical research. My signature, my lawyer's seal, my decision. Daniel looked up, stunned. Emily's face drained of color. "None of it belongs to me anymore," I said calmly. Silence fell like snow. Emily whispered, "You gave it away?" I met her eyes. Yes. Her mask cracked. For the first time, the real woman appeared. Fury, greed, shock. "You planned this," she said. I nodded. "For 3 years. They left before sunset." Emily walked ahead. "Fast!" Daniel followed slowly. He stopped at the gate, turned back once. There was something in his eyes. Regret, maybe, but regret is a currency that arrives too late. I raised my glass. Not in forgiveness, in acknowledgement. Then he walked away. The mountains grew darker as evening settled across the lake. The phone lay silent on the table. No more calls, no more demands. Just quiet. People think revenge is loud. It isn't. Real revenge is subtraction. Remove the money. Remove the control. Remove yourself. And suddenly the greedy have nothing left to chase. I finished the wine and looked at the empty road. Then I smiled. Because the most devastating punishment isn't losing the fortune. It's realizing you destroyed your family trying to steal it.